What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and welcome to the new rebuild series on the channel. Upon the completion of the realistic rebuilds, I asked you guys what kind of content do you want to see on the channel, and I am absolutely loving the Dinos NCAA 14 franchise. But I want to, play a little bit of Madden. Don't want to just completely give up on it, even though the game and the developers seem to give up on the fan base. So I have seen countless requests for me to do an ultimate rebuild. I was like, you know what? I'm looking around. I'm trying to see. I know the most popular one, I can't remember his name, but he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. He does it for 2K. And I was like, okay, well, let's see how he does it. Saw a couple realistic rebuilds on the channel, so I was like, all right, let's take his type of rebuild and see how that applies to Madden. And what an ultimate rebuild is it's essentially like a rebuild league. I'm starting here with the Cleveland Browns. I felt like starting with the #1 pick is the best starting point. I'm not going to go in draft order or anything like that. But we'll start with the Cleveland Browns, and what we're going to do here is we're going to play 3 seasons. Now, unfortunately, for year number 1, it's only going to be 2 years with the Browns because I'm going to sim this year straight out, and I'm actually going to make all the draft picks go to their actual team. So next year is going to be the first actual season, and we'll be starting with Baker Mayfield and Denzel Ward and those guys on the Browns, and every other first-round big rookies are going to be on the respected teams. But after that 3-year period, I'm just going to move to a next team, and I'm going to, I'll go to, I'm going to go to the Jets. And now I do 3 years with the Jets, trying to build the Jets up, all while I'm going up against previous teams that I've already rebuilt. So now I'm competing against myself, and it's going to make a nice little immersive world that, I can only beat myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's, there's probably a little bit of an innuendo in there somewhere. But you guys get the drift. So, yeah, we are starting with the Browns. Now, it's a little yin and yang here because it is 2017. I'm using rosters that have this year's free agency class. So you can see for the Browns, they have Tyrod, they have Carlos Hyde, Jarvis Landry. I don't know who else they would have got. Hubbard from the Steelers, and TJ Carey, EJ Gaines. So yeah, there's some players there, Demarius Randall. But I'm just going to sim out this first year. This first year is going to be a wash. And then I'm going to do my best to have all of the big name draft picks go to the respected teams. So 2018 will be the first year. So we're just going to ignore that this season ever happened. I'm going to sim right to the end. We'll pop back at draft time, and we'll figure it out. Just a quick note, I didn't touch a single thing when I was just simming the first year. And luckily enough, for the record books and trying to keep it as somewhat realistic, minus the free agent contracts, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So that's absolutely awesome. Clearly, against the Titans. The Titans were never going to make the Super Bowl. But hey, we'll take that. 42-7. Domination. Either way, they dominated. Without Nick Foles, this was Carson Wentz this time. But yeah, let's get to the draft. Alright, so here we are at post-draft. Now, every time we start a new season, this is going to be the starting point. Notice I said season, not episode, because you can only do 30 years in a single Madden save. And we're doing 3 years a team. Do the math, we can only do 10 teams in a row, and then we have to restart. So every time we have to restart, we're going to be doing, well, obviously there's 32 teams. We'll find a way around that. Realistically, 3-ish seasons. We're going to always start here at this starting point. So after a couple hours of making all the prospects, you know what I'm saying? We got, what do we got here? We got the Bills, they got Edmonds, Harrison Field. Most teams, I went with their first 3 picks than any other players that I thought got utterly supped on. Like for my Philadelphia Eagles, I got Dallas Goedert, Josh Sweat. And then they also have some really good picks that just were unnamed players. Isaiah Oliver, Calvin Ridley. But we are doing the Browns here today. So here is our roster. Now, how I did this was, if I actually drafted, here's actually how I drafted this team. I did not touch the first 4 picks of this draft. I was just drafted because I knew I was going to modify them, right? I knew I was going to kind of make the player, just to make it less of a hassle. I just took the top player at the position that they actually drafted. That school was actually closest. Like for Baker Mayfield, this was his name was Josh Miller, and he went to Oregon. So I was like, all right, I'm going to pick that guy because, it's easier to go to the new school. And I did that for all these guys, and look at the players I got. I got Baker Mayfield, 81 superstar. Didn't touch anything on him. I was like, okay, we will absolutely take that. I modified the stats a little bit, but the overall stays pretty much the same. Second round, we got a small corner. I was like, okay, small corner, very close to Denzel Ward. Turns out to be a 79 quick from Ohio State. So wasn't actually from Ohio State, but 79 quick, Denzel Ward. And then in the second round here, we got Austin Corbett, who's a guard tackle. Superstar. He's probably not going to pull a superstar, but why not? We should reward myself for drafting him out because literally I controlled all 32 teams and every single round, even though the picks were a little bit off, I just drafted the positions that they actually drafted in the 2018 draft class. So we have a 77 superstar here in Corbett. We got Nick Chubb, 76 normal. We'll be interested to see how he can find a role here in our offense. We got Chad Thomas in the last pick here, 73. We got Antonio Callaway, who might be a reach, might not be a reach. We'll see what he can do. And look at this. I got in the 4th round a 77 superstar tackle. So I'm going with a guy that I do think has an incredibly high ceiling. He went to the Browns as a member of their undrafted free agency class, but I was very surprised he did not get drafted. I know a lot of people out there that were following the drafts, especially the combine where he went off, were surprised he went undrafted. So it's Desmond Harrison from West Georgia. So there you go. We got that added in there. So that is going to be our draft class. So unfortunately for Browns, we're doing 3 years. We pretty much burned just so we can stay within the 10-year or sort of the 10-team, 30-year frame. We kind of already burned our first season. Now we have a 2-year rebuild, essentially, to try to make the Browns as competitive as possible. Hell, let's try to make the playoffs. So let's jump into it. All right, so here we are with the Cleveland Browns as we're getting ready to rock and roll here in 2018. Looking at our roster, what we are going to do is we're going to go, obviously, with Baker Mayfield as our starter. I mean, clearly that's what we're going to go, especially with that superstar depth. So we're going to throw Tyrod here up on the trade block. He's in a contract year, yeah, but let's see if we can get some value. Now, here's another interesting scenario. Long term, I know Duke Johnson. He's like 2-3 younger than Carlos Hyde. So I'm going to throw up both Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson on the trade block. I know Duke Johnson's in a contract year, so ideally, we can get this done sooner than later, and we can maybe move on from Hyde. I just want to keep one of these two guys and then pair them with Nick Chubb long term. I mean, we're probably not going to be with the Browns long enough for Nick Chubb to establish himself as a starter. But yeah, our wide receivers are looking fine with Corey Coleman, Landry. You got Gordon. I'm debating putting, you know what we're going to do here? Let's make this real. Juice is going to play in the slot, and we're going to have Josh Gordon and Corey Coleman, on the outside. Offensive line. We got an A- here in Batonio. Zeitler's an 85. We have 2 superstar tackles. And we have Treader. And Njoku somehow, someway is dominating his way to an 86 overall in his sophomore season. We have DeValve, who's an 81. We're going to throw him up on the trade block here. You don't really need 2 tight ends, especially in a sim. So maybe they'll be able to get some value. He's probably going to what, a B tight end. On the defensive side, I mean, our front 4 stays as is. Myles Garrett's a very nice 88. We have EJ Gaines, TJ Carey, Brian, Body Calhoun. I know Calhoun is in a contract year, so always try to see if we can put some guys here. We have rookie Denzel Ward. We want to get him involved, so let's make him the second corner here with EJ Gaines. Our safeties are nothing spectacular with Randall and Kindred. And our linebackers are average. Kirksey, Schobert, and Jamie Collins. So, we'll come back, see if we can get any trades here. If not, rock and roll. We'll get to the contracts mid-season. Hopefully, be a undefeated 8-0. Alright, so we got some trade offers. Now, very much like how we're going to have to view free agency, we don't want to really rip anyone off, because who knows, maybe the team, like say for example, with Calhoun here, we got a, let's just say we got a first-round pick. Well, what if the team we go to, he's not really worth a first-round pick, the team we go to next is that team. We're now short a first-round pick, so we want to try to make the best trades possible, and you know, look at that thing, like there, first round from the Jets, Giants. We're not going to make that happen. But ultimately, if you can get 2 teams better, thinking long-term, thinking like, yes, we're with the Browns, but we're going to be moving on, that's going to be like a best-case scenario there. So, like, what team here drastically needs cornerback help? You look at the Raiders. They certainly do a little bit. Carolina, second-round pick. We're not even going to be here. Like 2019. We're only dealing in 2019 picks. We got a middle linebacker, Minter, 2020, 2019. Third rounder, 4th and a 7th, and a fullback. You know what? Does a fullback even really matter? We'll take this one. We'll take the 3rd rounder and the 7th rounder here from the Buffalo Bills. And then we have a trade offer for Tyrod Taylor. So again, going the idea of which one of these teams would I not be utterly pissed to play with if Tyrod Taylor was my starting quarterback. Again, the Giants just trying to burn a first-round pick, and it's in 2020. We're not even going to be with the Browns here. So again, looking for 2019. Would that be funny to send him back there to Buffalo? See, none of these teams really make sense. You know what? Let's just do the ultimate fleecing. We'll send him back to the Bills. 2 more picks. We're not with the Bills that year. There you go. You're not happy with Josh Allen. You want to actually get a proper bridge quarterback and not rely on A.J. McCarron. There you go. We just fleeced them. Andrew Carey from Cleveland rocks. Anyone gets that reference? Most of you guys will probably get that reference. Just fleece the Bills in back-to-back trades. Okay. All right, so before we set our season goal, we got to check some free agents. We need to see if we can have some wide receivers. And look at the lovely AI that we have here. Darius Geis got cut. Sony Michel got cut. Look at that. Come on. Well, I mean, it's a practice squad. I mean, that's not super outrageous to think. But, I mean, you know, Rex just left Madden. And his game just... You know what? I'm ready for Madden to turn a new leaf here. Okay, I just came in here to dip on a wide receiver. We have very little at wide receiver right now, and you know, let's see what we have here. We can get our Darius Stewart, proven wide receiver from Alabama, but we also look at this guy, 95 speed, 5'9", a slot. I think more. Yeah, we'll just slide our Darius Stewart here to a 1-year deal. So we have 5 wide receivers on the depth chart. But again, man, Madden, simple things. You're not. Oh. So, looking at our mid-season free agents as we sit at a very nice, at week 9, 4-3 for the Browns. I think we're looking pretty decent here. Contract time is up, so we have Duke Johnson first and foremost. You know, it's one of those things. We'll let him hit the market, and if we want to bring him back, we will. But again, we still have Carlos Hyde, who's long-term. You know, he's already locked in. And again, this is like, do you want to just sign Duke Johnson where he's not going to do anything, or maybe he'll hit free agency and eventually he'll be on a team that we take over in 24-85. There's a chance he can get up into the 90s. So we're going to let him go. EJ Gaines, however, will get retained. 83 overall corner. I think he is a nice long-term partner with Denzel Ward, so he'll return there. Demarius Randall. We don't have a free safety. We have Jabril Peppers there. I don't necessarily know how well he's going to develop. We'll have to work on negotiating there, but he'll come back. And Trayvon Cawley is 24-75 overall. We'll send him a little deal here. I like him as part of my D-line rotation. Other than that, all these guys, you know, there's nothing special there. So yeah, we'll pound out a deal with Randall, and we'll let Duke Johnson hit free agency. Now here we are at the end of the 2018 season, and unfortunately we did not make the playoffs. But what did we do in the turnaround for the 0-16 Browns? Now looking at our roster, before we even look at our record, you know, good running backs, looks nice. We had Juice working out the slot. Baker Mayfield is an 88, so he jumped up 7 points in one season. He's gonna be a stud. He's gonna be one of the faces of this game. Our tackles are doing bad. Harrison's up to an 82. David Njoku is developing like an absolute madman. David Njoku, an 89 overall. I mean, that's the most overrated rating I've ever seen, but we'll take it as long as we're a member of the Cleveland Browns. On the defensive side, you know, not a lot of development there in the back lines. Hey, Ward's up to an 83. We'll make sure he's getting some of these starting snaps. Same goes with Gaines, who we just paid a lot of money to return to the team. Myles Garrett is up to a 91 overall. Very nice. Superstar dev, of course. Ogunjobi's an 83. So, all in all, man, we're a young team, and we're going in the right direction. So, we finished the year 8-8. So, tied for second in the AFC North. So, we had 8 more wins. We had 8 times as many wins as we had last season. I think that is very much acceptable for Mr. Drew Carey as the head coach. Oh, sorry, Andrew Carey. Looking at the stats for Baker Mayfield as a rookie, 4,400 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Now, if there's any way in hell that Baker Mayfield can have these kind of stats as a rookie in real life for the Browns, the league is in trouble. Those are, I believe, that's all records. I believe 44. I think the passing record's like 3,800 yards, something like that. I don't think any rookie's ever thrown for 4,000. Maybe they did, but I'm 99% sure the rookie touchdown record in a total season, it's like 26, 27. It's either Andrew Luck or Russell Wilson. So I'm pretty confident he broke both of those records, and things are definitely hitting off on the right foot here for Baker Mayfield. Run the ball. We got 1,100 yards, 13 TDs from Carlos Hyde. Very much acceptable. You know, not actually that good of a year from Duke Johnson. We got 2 extra touchdowns for Baker Mayfield, so that's 33 touchdowns. I will take that. Oh, look at that. Putting Juice in the slot. 75 catches, almost 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns. Well worth the money we're paying him. 907 from Josh Gordon, who stayed clean. 804 from Corey Coleman. We got 744 and 6 from David Njoku. All these guys with 70 catches. So we're throwing the ball around. We're slanging it. On the defensive side, we got 149 tackles. Joe Schobert. 102 from Kendrick. 101 from Cole Fusco. On the sack front here, however, 14.5 sacks, 18 tackles for loss, 86 tackles for Myles Garrett. He's a freak of nature. We already knew that, though. 9.5 sacks from Jamie Collins, 5.5 Ogunjobi, 3.5 from Ogba. So we didn't get a lot of help here on the defensive line outside of Myles Garrett, but he's a one-man show. He'll be able to keep that up. 4 picks here from EJ Gaines, who we were able to re-sign. TJ Carey got 2 and a couple singles. 78 tackles and a pick here from Denzel Ward. Taking a look here at the yearly awards, which is pretty much all we have to hang our hat on because we didn't make the playoffs. MVP went to Le'Veon Bell. Baker Mayfield coming in at number 10, getting the love right there. In the AFC, Offensive Player of the Year went to Le'Veon Bell, with Baker Mayfield coming in at number 5. Unless, you know, because it's a world, we can see if any of the other rookies as we go along throughout this series, who's surprising. You know, we can keep touching everyone. Defensive player went to Justin Houston. Joe Schobert coming in number 8, showing him some love. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Baker Mayfield, clearly. Lamar Jackson at 2. Darius Geis as a free agent who got released by the Washington Redskins. I don't know, maybe more came to light about that altercation with the Eagles. Maybe got an altercation with Dan Snyder. He said, yo, this team's name's racist. And then they got fisticuffs over that. Hayden Hurst there. Antonio Callaway at 5. Royce Freeman at 6. Again, we critique the AI, right, for cutting Darius Geis. So they have Royce Freeman there, clearly the starter, and they sign another running back. So it's like a team that doesn't need a young running back goes out and gets a young running back. Nick Chubb at 7, Sam Darnold at 8, Gesicki at 9, and this guy, Scott Moffitt, our fullback, at 10. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Bradley Chubb. Fusco, our unnamed rookie, at number 2. We have Jerome Baker, Harold Landry, Minka Fitzpatrick, Tremaine Edmonds, Denzel Ward. Okay. QB of the Year, Baker at 4. Okay, 5. Why can't I talk? So all in all, not the, I think if you're a Browns fan, this is an exceptional season. I think 8-8, 8 times as many wins. All of our rookies seem to be performing well, and most importantly, Baker Mayfield up to an 88. We have 1 year left, and we're going to need every bit of that 88 Baker Mayfield. Hopefully, we might be able to hit 90 after the preseason XP is done, and we can have a decent free agency period where we have a couple bucks to spend, dabble in free agency. So let's pop into the free agency spot and see how many strides we can make with this roster. So we're in free agency. We're just going to take a quick look now. I already did a little perusing myself, and we got only 2 targets. There's a couple names here, though. It's going to be interesting. Drew Brees hitting the market. Amari Cooper. You got Cam Meredith, who somehow, someway in the Saints offense grew to a 90. Mark Ingram's a 90. Alex Smith, Fat Rob. There's our boy Duke Johnson. Marcus Mariota has decided to hit free agency. Not one to return, but for us, we're keeping it simple. We're going cheap backup quarterback, and for some reason, Jerome Baker, another one of those. Let's just cut our top rookies. Got released, you would assume, I guess, but you say released or cut from the Miami Dolphins, and I think he'd be a nice interior option at linebacker for our roster, especially because Jamie Collins is not getting any younger, so we're making sure we outbid the Kansas City Chiefs. Now it's draft time. All right, so here is our 2019 draft. We have a pretty good haul. Before we jump into our players, though, we will look around the league just before I forget. The Broncos got a very nice tackle here in Greg Little. He's an 83 overall, which is pretty goddamn respectable. The Baltimore Ravens got an 84 overall running back. Normal dab. We made it Bryce Love from Stanford, who most likely will be in that Heisman contention somewhere along the way. The San Francisco 49ers, in my opinion, might have the best defensive tackle since, or maybe before, Ndamukong Suh when he was at Nebraska. And that is Ed Oliver, the D tackle from Houston Superstar, 83. We also need to make note of the big quarterback that went off the board. At number 1 overall, Justin Herbert, the quarterback from Oregon, 84 Superstar. Dolphins are going to be an interesting team. I don't have to worry about that just, suckhole of Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. Herbert is very good. So, looking at what we did with the Cleveland Browns, first round we get a 75 wide receiver, which we made Amon Richards from Miami, good speedster. Probably could challenge in case Josh Gordon era is over. We got Zach Allen, a talented defensive end from Boston College. He's a 71. Staying with Boston College in the second round, 24, we got Lucas Dennis, a free safety, kind of taking a scheme hit, but ultimately we need to find a replacement there, free safety. Jabril Pepper's not getting the job done. So we can look there. We got 76 center, third round made Jesse Burkett, superstar dev from Stanford, regarded as one of the top centers for the 2019 draft class. We got a 79 D tackle with superstar. This is probably one of the best picks I've ever had in any draft. So we made it Raekwon Davis from Alabama. I'm higher on him than a lot of people are. I think he's going to be an absolute stud in the NFL. This 2019 draft class is going to be absolutely absurd for defensive tackles. I can literally see 60 tackles going in, the first 40 picks. We got a 77 tackle here in the 6th round with a quick dev. We've drafted tackles particularly well. So we had Martez Ivy from the greatest university of all time. That is Florida. So that is our draft class. I feel pretty good. I don't know if we made enough moves this year. It's always tough when only 2 years to try to win a Super Bowl, but I'm very happy with our draft class. So now let's pop into our final year and try to get the Browns at least into the playoffs. So as we get ready for our final year in control of the Cleveland Browns, here is our roster. Mayfield's an 87. Jarvis Landry's up to a 90, but once again, we're going to go putting him in the slot. See if that's going to help us out any. To prolong this, help them out once we're gone. We'll put Amon Richards in there. Actually, that's a wide receiver 2. And then we'll make Juice the wide receiver 3. There we go. Get our young guys out there. Joku's a 90. Offensive line, no one below a B grade, which is beautiful. On the defense, Denzel Ward's up to an 83. Myles Garrett still chilling at a 91. Raekwon Davis will be able to start right away as a rookie. The linebacking core and the safeties are probably 2 areas that we have yet to really develop. But ultimately, I do feel like this is a team that can make a run. So since it is our final year to try to make a playoffs, try to make something special here, we are making the playoffs our goal. So can Drew Carey get the price right? See the puns. And get the Browns in the playoffs? We'll find out just shortly. And here we are at season's end, and we're cracking the playoffs with an 8-8 record. It's ugly. Don't matter. 8-8, second in the AFC North, tied with the Bengals. I don't know, I guess somehow, someway we had the tiebreaker, and we did it, man. Baker Mayfield, 91 overall. Juice is a 91. We got 90 for Njoku, as well as the rest of the offense just starting to churn up here a little bit. Myles Garrett, it's not really developed a whole lot, but look at that. That was like a +3 or 4 here for EJ Gaines, now shot up to an 87 overall. Taking a quick look here at the season stats. Mr. Baker Mayfield, 4,200 yards, 37 TDs, 12 picks. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. We got 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns for Carlos Hyde, 860 and 7 for Njoku, 1,200, almost 1,300 yards and 9 TDs from Jarvis Landry in the slot, 808 from our rookie Amon Richards. We got 707 here from Corey Cullen. All acceptable numbers. 149 tackles, 4 picks from middle linebacker Joe Schobert. Give me that. I'll take that. We got, I believe it was 10 sacks here from Myles Garrett, 7.5 from Jamie Collins. But look at this. 7 interceptions from EJ Gaines. What? Who? I'll take it. 7 picks from the Buffalo Bills castaway, as we are now finding ourselves in the playoff hunt. I never thought we'd even have to worry about that. Todd Gurley got himself an MVP. Look at that. Drew Lock, 3rd in the race, coming in as a rookie there for the Saints. Crazy. Baker Mayfield coming in at 9. In the AFC Offensive Player of the Year went to Le'Veon Bell. Lamar Jackson coming in at 3. Baker Mayfield coming in at 5. Defensive Player of the Year went to Tremaine Edmonds, dominating up there in Buffalo. Joe Schobert at number 3. And that's pretty much it. Those are the only major awards we'll look at. Actually, you know what? I just want to see if they gave my boy EJ Gaines Corner of the Year in the AFC. Best DB. There you go. Shout out to EJ Gaines. Getting that respect with 7 picks. So now we have our matchup here against the Chargers. We're just going to play the moments. We'll play them as I see it. We don't want too heavy influence, but we may fill in. We'll step in. We'll pop a Barrett if we have to. It's the Chargers. We know what kind of cheese we're going to be facing. Let's see how cheesy it is. Right. All right, so here we go against the Chargers. Not feeling too optimistic, but like I said, this is a game where it's tied up in the 4th. And, we're going to get a cheese. I might pop in. And help the Browns out here, but I don't want too much influence. I do want gameplay if it's warranted, but ultimately, these Ultimate Rebuild series they're heavy in the gameplay. It's more so about the team building. Because I feel like if I controlled the teams and really, went after it, we're getting dominated right now. I don't want to win, 9 Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? I want it to feel sweet when it actually all culminates. Is that a word? Culminates? Modal? But we're getting stomped here. It's 4th down. You know what? Let's just play it. Let's just see what happens here. Because I do want to get a little taste of this Baker Mayfield show. This 90 overall Baker Mayfield. I want to see what he's about. Now, does anybody know why you come in from play the moments? The chew the clock's always on. It always puts you in a high pressure scenario. And there's a nice little sack. Insta sack. We literally had 1 second in the pocket. It's Joey Bosa comes across. Gets his 2.5 sack on the day. Wasn't pretty. We'll see if we can get a drive here. Some point. It's not even going to give us a drive. We got dominated. You know what it is? It is what it is. Doesn't matter what series we're doing. You play the Chargers in the playoffs. You're getting utterly dominated. 4 touchdowns there for Phillip Rivers. 221 and 2 here from Baker Mayfield. This is a little depressing. A little bit of a shit ending for the debut episode. But we'll pop out, do the closeout, set up the next episode in just a second. So, someone cue up the boys to men because it is the end of the road, but I'm still proud of what we were able to do. We took a 0-16 Browns team. We made them up to an 84 overall. That includes an 85 defense, but more importantly, that spectacular 89 offense. They're going to be set. They're going to be absolutely fine when we move on to our next team. Even though we got bummed We got touched in the bum inappropriately by the Chargers there in the playoffs. They have a 90 overall quarterback. You have just elite wide receiver core, offensive line that's very much on the mend. You have an elite tight end, and Joker's a 92. I don't know where that development is coming from. And I think we built up the defense pretty nice. You ultimately, whoever's coming in to take it over, you got to work on the linebackers, you got to work on the safeties, but there's not a whole lot to do. So because usually I'm actually going to take suggestions. I'm going to go for the top requested team, but I only have a limited amount of time this week, so I'm going to pre-record the next episode. So I feel like this could be the way we do it, but ultimately I think maybe, getting your guys' interaction might be a little bit better. But for the next episode, I'm going to go with the team that has the worst record from the save. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we started out with the Browns. Oh, my God. The Eagles went 16-0. They went 16-0. Okay. Okay, what we're going to do first is we're going to sim and see who wins the Super Bowl. All right, in the Super Bowl, the 16-0 Eagles actually lost in the conference championship to the Rams, which had MVP Todd Gurley, which got themselves a Super Bowl title. So, as I was saying before, I was so rudely cut off by the astonishing 16-0 perfect season from the Eagles. It's because I started off with the 0-16 Browns. Just because I'm pre-recording, we're going to go with the team with the worst record, and that is the team we're going to rebuild next. So it is looking like we're moving on to the 3-13 Raiders for the next episode. So what you guys can do here is actually reply in the comments what team you want to see in episode 3, or if you think me just going with the worst record team at the end of the 3 seasons is the best way to do things, feel free to leave that suggestion as well. So I hope you guys are digging this new series. I didn't even know about it, so shout out to you guys for bringing me these ideas. You guys are smarter than the average bear. So I hope you guys do enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, smash the like button to know you guys are interested in this series and you want me to continue to do it long term. If it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace